What's going on, ladies and gents, boys and girls, Spartans of all ages, Joker back again once again, and today we will be talking about the greatest flexes in Halo lore. And let me tell you, it feels great to be talking about Halo lore. I love Halo lore. It's a massive universe with tons of incredible flexers.
Am I right, Marines?
Sir, yes, sir!
Damn right I am.
And today, we're only going to be able to cover a few, but I think it'll be a good stepping stone into the world of Halo for people who aren't necessarily initiated. Now, let's be real, let's be honest. Halo is a franchise built on massive flexes. Halo at its best embraces its origins in 80s movies like Aliens and Predator. And, well, basically anything with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. The DNA of Halo is distinctly 80s action movies, something I think is sorely missing from the modern iterations of the franchise. And because of original Halo's ties to these excellent 80s movies, I would argue that everybody, at least in the early Halo games and lore, are massive flexers. In fact, at least as far as the games go, the only non-badass characters are 343 creations.
I am ordering you to surrender that AI! No, sir. Lieutenant! Arrest that man!
Captain!
Arrest him!
Captain!
Even in the old Halo, when you had a character that had a name, they were gonna be a badass. Except for Jenkins. Fuck Jenkins. Point being, I have a ton of material for this series to work with if you guys want to see more of this series. In fact, the hardest part about making this video was deciding which flexes to use now in this kind of testbed video, and which ones to save till later. But then you also want to use good flexes because you want people to like it. Which brings us to our like goal for the video. If you guys want to see more Halo flexes, get 5,000 likes on this video, and the next greatest flexes in Halo video will be out within the week. So, without further ado, first flex! So, Halo 5 gets a lot of shit for a lot of good reasons. The story is an absolute fucking mess, and had nothing to do with the absolutely phenomenal ARG drama #HuntTheTruth, which served as the marketing campaign for Halo 5. From what I understand, Microsoft or 343 hired or created a team to create the marketing campaign that was #HuntTheTruth. And then didn't tell them anything about Halo 5. They just said, make something. Hence the disparity between #HuntTheTruth's phenomenal story and Halo 5's not so good, kind of repugnant one. And while I'll still argue that Halo Reach is the most damaging game in the history of the franchise, due in no small part to it vivisecting the very lore it needs to exist, and introducing us to enhanced mobility, and Bloom, and killing competitive Halo, Halo 5 was just kind of the worst story told in a Halo game to date. It's just bad. It's not offensively bad. It's just bad. I'm only mad because I spent money on it kind of bad. Not like, oh man, this actually did a lot of damage to Halo bad. No, Halo 5 is just kind of mediocre bad. Like, it's not even bad enough to be offensively bad. It just is. So it might be hard to believe that Halo 5 has a rather interesting flex in it. One that takes a bit of explaining, because every video is somebody's first, and this is Halo content on a Destiny channel, so bear with me. During the story of Halo 5, John and Blue Team go AWOL.
John must not speak to her.
He's gone in search of her.
You let him go?
How is it
Nobody lets the chief do anything. He does what he wants.
until 0631 this morning, when he was declared absent without leave.
This isn't a...
Lasky then sends Fireteam Osiris to retrieve Blue Team.
I mean, how are we even supposed to bring them in? Ask politely?
No.
The hell?
Armor restraint.
Apparently, Osiris is rather stupid because you only ever see this one armor restraint. I'm counting 4 members of Blue Team. Now, I'm no astrophysicist, but that don't math, fam. But anyways, as luck would have it, after chasing Blue Team to Meridian, they split up, and John and Locke engage in good old fisticuffs. And wouldn't you know it, the rest of Fireteam Osiris is just happy to sit back and watch? Weird flex, but okay, but that's not the flex we're talking about. So, this fight is, well, it's actually kind of a choreographed mess. I swear, I'm not just here to bitch about Halo 5, there's an actual flex coming. While this fight is actually rather lame, there are some cool things going on in the background that make this quite the flex for our boy Master Chief. and it all comes down to the type of armor he's using. Basically, this armor is a huge nerf to Master Chief. So if you take a Spartan 2 and a Spartan 3 out of armor and pit them against one another, it would be a fairly even contest. The Spartan 3 might even have somewhat of an advantage given their youth. If it's a Gamma Company Spartan 3 who would be around, I believe, 17 or 19 years old at this point, not only do they have their youth, but they have highly, and I mean highly illegal berserker drugs just kinda flowing through their bloodstream. That said, a Spartan 2 is going to have decades of combat experience. However, if you take a Spartan 2 and you pit them against a Spartan 4 out of armor, it's a wrap, fam. Better bring a body bag because that Spartan 4 is going down 10 times out of 10. While Spartan 4s are very well-built super soldiers, they're not Spartan 2s, they're not Spartan 3s. That's where the armor comes into play. For you see, Spartan 4s use an armor known as Mjolnir Gen 2. This was designed to close the gaps between Spartan 2s and 3s and 4s. And at a baseline, on average, it pretty much gets there. On a baseline, on average, pretty much. See all these qualifiers? See, if you take a Spartan 4 and you put them in Gen 2 armor, and you take a Spartan 2 and you put them in what's considered Gen 1 armor, probably a Mark 6, which is what Master Chief uses in Halo 2, 3, and 4, then the fight will come down to the force multiplying capability of each armor series. For those of you who do not know, all the armor from Halo 1, 2, 3, and Wars all fall under the Gen 1 platform. The new series of Spartan armor that we see Spartan 4s in Halo 4 use, and then everybody in Halo 5 use, is what's called Gen 2. The Gen 2 platform is capable of buffing a Spartan 4 up to the average operational strength of a Spartan 2 on the Gen 1 platform. However, because the way that Gen 2 armor is designed, it actually has an upper limit that it can reach when it comes to force multiplication before it fails. And so the Gen 2 armor caps out under that limit. The Gen 1 platforms have no such force multiplier limit. I'll link a video by Installation 00 in the description that goes more in depth about the science and breaks it down, but basically, if you take a Spartan 2, 3, or 4 and put them in Gen 2 armor, they will have the exact same upper limit of strength regardless of how strong they are outside the armor. Meaning, hypothetically speaking, you could take the Mountain of a Man George and the 15-year-old Spartan 3 Olivia and put them both in Gen 2 armor, and they would, regardless of size and strength, outside the armor, have the same exact upper limit. Contrast this to the Gen 1 platform, which could exponentially increase strength at a factor based on the user's physical strength. And since Spartan 2s are physically stronger, if John was in Gen 1 armor, not Gen 2, it would have been a wrap. They would have had to take Locke back to the Infinity in a body bag, which is kind of the second part of this flex. In my honest opinion, I don't think Master Chief is trying to kill Locke. At the beginning of the fight, he disarms Locke by taking the battle rifle away and breaking it. He doesn't draw his weapon, but Locke, at the end of the fight, when he sees he's about to lose, draws his weapon, which leads me to believe one was willing to kill, the other wasn't. So this is even a bigger flex because John wasn't willing to kill, Locke was, and John was fighting at a handicap when Locke was fighting at his prime. And all I can say to that is, next flex! Oh boy, I'm about to get a lot of hate for this one, I can already see it. So the Halo universe has a few factions, and for most of the franchise, it's humans versus Covenant. And the most well-known battle of this human-Covenant war is the Fall of Reach. I mean, after all, we do have books, comics, movies, games, all depicting various iterations of these events, to diminishing degrees of accuracy and quality. But that's neither here nor there. The depiction that I want to talk about is the one that we see in the game Halo Reach. Essentially, Halo Reach tells the story of Noble Team's sacrifice in the final weeks before the Covenant invasion of Reach. The game starts off with an introduction to the player character, Noble 6, and a mission to go investigate a comms relay outage. Command thinks it's rebels on Reach because they could not fathom what was about to happen, and the Covenant would invade.
Barely getting you. What's your situation? Over?
Colonel, this is Noble 1. There are no rebels. The Covenant are on Reach. Acknowledge?
Come again, Noble One. Did you say Covenant?
Affirmative. It's the winter contingency.
May God help us all.
But hey, things can't be looking too bad. I mean, after all, we have Noble Team on Reach, and we basically have Master Chief 2.0 with Noble 6. Noble 6 being the only other Spartan next to Master Chief that was listed as a hyper-lethal vector. So things are looking up, right? It's not like there's a decade-old book that foreshadows how this is gonna all pan out. Oh wait. As you might guess, the story then follows the desperate attempt of Noble Team to stall out the invasion the best that they can. And at first, it seems like they may be winning, at least until the mission Tip of the Spear. But let's take a step back. At the end of the mission Nightfall, we come across a Covenant staging area for their invasion of Reach. The idea of Tip of the Spear is to clear a way to this staging area so the UNSC can destroy this large pillar. This actually works. Until it doesn't.
Not ground, in atmosphere.
One way to get their attention. Hang on to your teeth, people.
You triggered my trap card!
No, somebody tell me this ain't happening.
UNSC frigate Grafton. Do you copy?
Grafton is dust. We need to get out of here now.
And I could end the flex right there because, let's be real, let's be honest, that was one hell of a flex. I could clap my hands and be like, next flex! And I don't think that there is a soul out there who would argue with that. But it does get better. That wasn't even the cream de la cream pie. That was like the foreplay. A teaser pony, if one was being so crude. So the UNSC destroy this Covenant tower, and not 5 seconds later, the Covenant destroy their frigate, unveiling their trap card. How do we destroy this Covenant supercarrier? Well, Cat has a plan.
Objective: destroy Covenant carrier in geosynchronous orbit above us. Method: a slip space drive in lieu of the nukes we don't have. Delivery system: us. Solvable? Getting us up there. That and getting our hands on a slip space drive. A good place to look might be, I don't know, the nearest non-existent launch site in the non-existent Saber program dismissed by 3 administrations as preposterous rumor, and in which our newest member was certainly never a pilot.
Okay, so perfect. We have a plan. We get to space. We fly around. We get to shoot shit. And then we board a Covenant cruiser. We disable it. We take it over. This only takes a matter of minutes. In fact, this was super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
You triggered my trap card!
God damn it, not again. So before the UNSC can flex on the Covenant, we find out that EngageFlex.exe for the UNSC has stopped working.
Bad news is, time is fried.
But it's okay, we can't get back to the Sabers. This is a one-way trip for anybody who's not in Mjolnir armor, and Noseworthy is here to save the day, right?
I'm gonna have to fire it manually.
Why? No, it has to be George. Okay, so George has to die. I mean, sure, we could just leave this task for Noseworthy, but you gotta make sure it gets done. So George enacts martyrdom.exe to kickstart flex.exe. And the day is saved. Shit.
Gamma station control, reading multiple pings below the orbital defense
Slip
grid.
space rupture detected.
Yeah, we're picking up anomalies too. Are you reading it? Multiple Covenant signatures.
Slip space
Does anyone have a
detected.
They're everywhere.
Slip space
Yeah,
detected.
the whole damn Covenant
Slip
fleet.
space detected.
Yeah. George just got flexed on. Humanity got flexed on. Just right there. Just bam, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Okay. That's how you get flexed on. See, you went in thinking you were going to do the flexing, but no. You got flexed on instead. Next flex! So we've seen what happens when a Spartan doesn't know how to deliver righteous justice to the Covenant properly. Now, let's talk about one who does. In fact, just cue up the clip.
Sir,
Permission to leave the station.
For what purpose, Master Chief?
To give the Covenant back their bomb.
Permission granted.
I know what you're thinking, and it's crazy.
So, stay here.
Unfortunately for us both, I like crazy. Just one question. What if you miss?
I won't.
Gear up. We're taking this fight to the surface.
I love everything about this clip. I mean, Master Chief, he's like, "Sir, permission to leave the station." And Lord Hood's like, "Huh? Why?" And John's like, "Duh, to give the Covenant back their bomb." And Lord Hood just does a slight double take. Like, it was processing in his brain, and he's like, "Oh wait, no, this is the Master Chief. Who the fuck am I kidding? Yeah, no, dude, do it." It's so fucking cool, man. That is fucking peak Halo right there. And with that, we bring the first in what is hopefully a long line of greatest flexes in Halo videos to a close. This wasn't necessarily shorter than the other flex videos, but it only had a few flexes because I felt like there was a lot of explaining that needed to be done because I'm not sure just how engaged my community is with Halo continuity and Halo lore, so I did feel like I needed to explain more than I might with, say, a Destiny video. That said, to be somewhat fair to myself, the Halo Reach flex was a huge, massive flex built on flex upon flex after flex after flex after flex, leading up to, like I said, one massive flex. Which ultimately leads to gasp, shock, the fall of Reach. Plus, you can't really follow Give the Covenant back their bomb with anything else in the same video. That's like sacrilege. So, I hope you wonderful people enjoyed. Remember to like, because if this video gets 5,000 likes within the next week, then Greatest Flexes in Halo Part 2 will be out well within a week. Also, let me know in the comments below if there's any flexes in Halo that you would like to see in a video. Subscribe for more, donate to my Patreon if you're feeling super generous, but above all else, stay frosty.